right, homies. Val is back. I even brought Bill, Steve, and Ryan out of the freezer. Do you remember where we left off? It's just this way, at the Dim Carnival.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dim Carnival. I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're back in a sense, in a fashion. And we're not just back, but we're back and we're talking about the next few tracks off of our eagerly anticipated dive into the one and only none other than the sixth Joker's card, the Wraith, Hell's Pit. And today we're talking about the sixth track of Hell's Pit, which is Every Day I Die. And we're going to talk about the Night of the 44, and we're going to talk about the Witch, and maybe we'll talk about bowling balls, but I think maybe we might have to push that to the next episode, because bowling balls, as you all, I'm sure, intimately familiar with, not only has, it was the lead single off this album and has a video, but it also has a movie, a 20-something minute movie that has the video woven into the fabric of it. And we've watched all those things, so we're going to talk about those as well. So that might take up some time. But anyway, guys, how does it feel to be back inside of Hell's Pit?
It's warm.
I remember the episode we recorded, whenever that was, over a year ago, like at this point. I remember being concerned going into it because I didn't remember thinking much of the album from whenever I listened to it originally, and then feeling like I don't remember what I said actually on the last time we talked about it, but I feel like in general I was like better than I remembered, and I was having more fun listening to it. I'm not a huge fan of most of the songs that we listened to this week, I gotta say. And it's not that they are bad songs, but I feel like these songs are good examples. I feel like maybe we'll talk about them when we get to the individual tracks. These songs, I sort of felt like, I don't want to say phoning it in, but just like their heart wasn't in it as much. And I don't know that I necessarily felt that in the first 5 tracks, but on this one I was kind of like, it's got the elements, but it just wasn't hitting for me,
I will agree with you, but I'll also say that I enjoyed these way more than I ever remembered enjoying any of the tracks off of Hell's Pit. Like every time we dip back into this album, I'm like, oh, I just think I didn't want to listen to this out. Like, cause Shangri-La was just so good. We've talked about it before. Shangri-La was so good for me and so perfect. And even ICP has admitted, like, we didn't like going back to this place, but we had promised both sides of the coin. And sometimes I feel like they maybe should have started with Hell's Pit when they released the 2 Wraiths. But I also think people wanted the 6th Joker's card. And if this had been the first Joker's card, the first 6th Joker's card, I think maybe it would have been a letdown for some people. Because it's ultimately, there's nothing really like cumulative or revelatory like there is on Shangri-La. With like the unveiling and everything else. Shangri-La is just such a good 6th Joker's card, I feel. Despite how you may feel about the big reveal. I just feel like it feels like it's a culmination. And Hell's Pit just feels like it's an album of the wicked shit, and not necessarily like the encapsulation of wrapping up the first, huge portion of their saga and their mythos and mythology. Like you said, not necessarily they're not necessarily phoning it in, but like there are tracks on this album that are like sort of throwaways, and I don't know whether you could, I think like maybe 2 of the 17 tracks on Shangri-La you could say are throwaways. Like Shangri-La is just bangers top to bottom, and it feels like Shangri-La is the 6 Jokers card to me. Like they were like, time's up, y'all.
I will say that I completely agree. You really encapsulated better what I was feeling than I was able to say it, so thank you for that. But also, the one thing that I want to say is, specifically for the 4 tracks that we have scheduled for this week, each track I like better and better as we go. So they got progressively more and more fun to listen to, in my opinion.
Like I said, I do remember that I liked the majority of the first 5 tracks that we listened to. But like listening to these tracks again, it's like I was dreading listening to Hell's Pit for a long time because I felt like, oh, it's just like sort of dark and nothing really jumped out at me. But these aren't bad tracks, and we can jump into it more as we go. But Steve, do you want to say anything about diving back into Hell's Pit before we dive into the individual tracks?
Sure. I definitely agree with both of you that it doesn't feel like a Joker's card, and it's easy to remember or easy to forget that it is a Joker's card because of, like you said, about Shangri-La being so amazing. I guess a little bit, I do feel like there's a little bit of a wrap up in the story in that they always talked about going to hell in songs on previous albums, and so they did. So at least I feel like they kind of, confirmed that. And I also find it funny that they go to heaven and hell, but obviously to tell the story, it kind of has to happen that way. I mean, oftentimes I'm like, they are Shaggy and Jay because of certain songs that we'll listen to, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I was like trying to like, how could we as fans like try to twist and bend the story as to how they're emissaries of the Dark Carnival, which is God, and did God's work, but they're in hell. And at first, are they the other characters?
It's interesting because they always promised us that they would show us a full vision of both Shangri-La and the Hell's Pit. But I think it's an interesting. I think that if you go strictly by the mythology of what they've set up, Insane Clown Posse serve neither heaven nor hell. They serve the Dark Carnival, which shepherds people to both. So I think like they're the true. I think that the Dark Carnival and Jay and Shaggy, in terms of the story, serve as the true like objective entities. Like they're chaotic neutral. Their job is ferreting out who goes to heaven, who goes to hell. And there's various agents who assist them with that. The Jekyll brothers juggle your sins, and the Ringmaster commands all these people, and Malenko uses magic to, reveal people's true identities and stuff like that. But ultimately, they murder the unjust who then go to hell, and they help shepherd the, crossing the bridge. They help through the Dark Carnival lead people to Shangri-La. So I think that if you take the story purely at surface value, like they've always said, we serve the Dark Carnival. They don't serve God. They don't serve heaven or hell. They serve the Dark Carnival, which is like, I guess, the third party mediator between heaven and hell. They're the arbitrators.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys disagree?
No.
I don't disagree. I just, in the reveal, if I remember it correctly, they just said the carnival is God.
Well, that's not canon, I don't think. Well, but even if that's true, like they've gone to hell before, so they're like but also,
I think I think that's a little. I don't know what the term is for that. Maybe Bill, or maybe one of you does, but I don't think he's literally saying that the Dark Carnival is God. I think what he's just saying is like the whole message. He's using carnival as a term to mean.
No, the unveiling is the unveiling is the metatextual, like pulling back the curtain. Like, here's what we as Joe Utzler and Joe Bruce, here's what we believe to be true, and here's the truth behind why we've told these stories. But I think that within the stories, the Dark Carnival isn't God.
Yeah, okay. I got you. I feel you.
All right.
I see what you're saying.
Feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Feel me?
Yeah, you gotta remember, I was raised evangelical, so we take everything super literal.
Beautiful. Okay, let's dive into the first track we're talking about, which is Every Day I Die, and Hell and Hell and Hell and Hell. And if you haven't taken a listen to that, go ahead and take a listen right now.
Finally landed in position. I can see my body still standing, headless as fuck. It finally fell, but what the hell? Still got my nugget, but I'm stuck. I can't move. Fuck, I'm only a face. Why even try? On top of that, it's a centipede crawling in my eye. I wanna die. Back to the start, another
A little rusty, guys.
We all are.
This is Every Day I Die, and it tells stories of Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope trying to go visit each other in hell, traveling between their various neighborhoods and the travails and pitfalls it involved. And basically, guys, it's an allegory for the current coronavirus pandemic through which we are living, because you can't go outside because there's so many things that are going to kill you. But I really like this song. It might be my favorite of the songs we have this week, but wow. Purely because of the lyrics, I really like the story it tells, because it's just so simple. Like there's almost nothing to it, but I do love that there is the story of Jay trying to visit Shaggy, and then Shaggy's story like has all these callbacks to what Jay did, and then like sort of like maybe noticing Jay's dead body, but then like that's all great. And it also prefaces the witch story, which comes up on track 8, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and it has callbacks to like the loons from is it Riddlemaster or Riddlemaster or Ringbox?
Ringmaster.
But I just like it, and I also like Shaggy 2 Dope's verse ends with goblins boiling to eat them, but like it's so great that after watching so much of Shaggy and the Creepshow, which we talked about, I have such a new appreciation for Shaggy and his verses and his lyrics, because it's like, we've speculated in the past, like maybe Jay writes all of Shaggy's rhymes and everything, but like after watching so much of Shaggy and the Creep, like which has almost no involvement from Violent J whatsoever, other than like cameos, like it's very clear like Shaggy's a very clever, very funny person all on his own, who riffs, who's smart, who's played a shit ton of D&D in his day. Also, holy shit, you guys, did you watch the last Shaggy and the Creep show where they have a time lapse of Shaggy drawing a picture?
Yeah, he's a great artist.
Shit, he's really good at drawing.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's drawn all the covers, but like you never knew, like, does he really draw all the covers, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway,
no, he's really talented, and
Shaggy's verses.
What was that?
I have a newfound appreciation for Shaggy's verses, and I appreciate that. I know that it's coming from him,
So what I want to say is that, to what you just said, is that you can feel their talent in all of these songs, but there's some kind of recipe, some kind of magic that just didn't happen for me, and so the imagery of it, I like both of them, and actually I got really strong Out vibes, Out from Terror Wheel. Yeah. Where Jay goes to the store and gets his head ripped off similarly, although in Out he doesn't mind, he's just rolling around as a head. No big deal. But it just like it just didn't come together. Like it just doesn't gel. I do really like all of the imagery, and I do feel like the writing is really strong. I definitely agree.
I agree with you, and I think that the reason I enjoyed these so much this week is because in my memory and in my brain, all of Hell's Pit is just dog shit. So like the fact that these are like listenable and fine is like such a huge leap forward and step up for me.
Were you guys surprised by Styx line being in this album?
Who? Styx?
Oh, the band Styx. You familiar with the band Styx?
They're on this album.
Too much time on I got too much time on my hands. That's what
I did not know that was a interpolation of a Styx song.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I know like two Styx songs.
Well, I've been listening to a lot of like progressive rock from the 70s, 80s lately, and so yeah, I picked that up immediately. I was like, wow, Styx. Surprised.
Yeah.
Styx.
I have to agree with you guys. I like this song. I was expecting to not like it, but I think obviously as we've been doing these doing these albums, I just find myself appreciating more ICP content in general. And so, and I don't have like such a like massive connection to the old stuff that, like the way I used to. I mean, I still enjoy those songs, but like I've given myself space to appreciate more where I would find in the past I didn't do. And I really enjoy this song. It's not my favorite song on the list today that we, cover, but, I thought the song, like, I love the verses. I love the way it flows. I like the music in it a lot. Even the guitar, chorus and stuff like that. It really works, obviously, in Hell. Everything is good. One of the things that I appreciate about this song and appreciate about all four songs is they're all just a little over 3 minutes long.
Oh, man. I was going to mention that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that also gives it a little bit of different feel than regular ICP songs, and which also might make it feel like sometimes they're phoning it in because they're just like, here's this song. Bam, it's done. Here's a verse, chorus, last chorus that doesn't go on for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, all the songs are real brief, real quick listen.
And I appreciated that. And you know, that's actually kind of them to do that. Not saying because the songs suck, because they don't necessarily suck, but they're also difficult songs, you know.
They don't necessarily suck.
They say some pretty awful things in some of them, and so you kind of want to get past them.
Right, you don't need to sit there and groove out.
Yeah.
On a lot of this content.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't understand why there's no feel good.
They said going in, it's not gonna be fun. You're not gonna enjoy it. Here's a new album. You're not gonna like it. We don't enjoy.
But here's 3 different variant covers. Buy them still.
So a few things I want to mention actually. First is this track was produced by Mike P. I think it's the first Mike P track on the album. Oh no, he did Walk Into Darkness. So you can definitely hear the difference in tone from the previous tracks in front of this one that were all produced by Fritz the Cat. I feel like, and the guitars with the scratching, especially the slow like kind of thing in the chorus, to me sounds very, very dated. Which is not to say I didn't like it or whatever, but it's just like, that's a sound that is, I feel like is really, that was at the height of the popularity of rap rock, right?
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I don't know why I think that. And then.
Because 311 changed your life, Ryan.
What song is it where, I think it's on one of the bazaars where they're making fun of, like, Jam Master Jay scratching in the ball.
Yeah. It's If.
That's what
If is the name of the track.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
If I was Jam Master Jay, I'd be like, ooh, 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 ooh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was hearing this song, was that scratchy.
Okay, and I almost wrote that down, but I thought that might be a little unfair. Because it's probably Shaggy, right? That's scratching.
But, I mean, it's Hell, so why would it be good?
Right.
Okay. All right.
By the way, the new RA the Rugged Man album is really fantastic. Just in terms of like pure like beats and ability and stuff. And he has a track on there with DJ Jazzy Jeff. It's great. Same thing.
Yeah, I listened to a few tracks off that, and I liked it a lot. I'm a big fan of RA.
Sure. Yeah. There's a guy on there, AFRO, and that dude is like ridiculously talented. He's like 22 or something. Anyway.
Well, don't tell Violent J about it, because he'll want to use him for a pillow.
That's true.
That's a call.
We'll get to that. Before I forget, the last thing I have to say about this song is, because I wanted to make sure I mentioned it in The Witch, and I'll talk about it more, but I want to make sure I don't forget. When Shaggy 2 Dope first mentions the witch in this song, he gives the witch the pronoun it. And we'll talk about that more in a bit.
I also have some notes about pronouns.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Let's get to that.
Do you have anything else to say about Every Day I Die before we move on to the song that isn't the witch?
Steve?
No.
Okay.
I have one, and it's the outro.
Shit. Go ahead.
At the very end, there's a little vignette where Jay is kind of singing to himself, "Pills, pills, pills," like, and it's like a pill backlash. And I know we talked a lot about on Wizard of the Hood how Violent J was able to get off of pills by smoking weed, and so I feel like we continue some of that here. He's
well.
I feel like he's saying I think the sentiment is that pills aren't able to solve everything. It's not necessarily a backlash against pills, as I recall, but
no. Okay, the pills thing is the beginning of Night of the 44, and that's not Violent J talking.
It's the same
yeah, but
it's not Violent J. It's the
guy
the character
from
in Night of the 44.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I get from it, and it
because
it leads directly into it. And I don't think it's a backlash against pills at all. I think it's a mentally ill and violent person who doesn't believe that the pills are helping him or won't, and eschews the advice of medical professionals or colleagues or friends or whatever, and then goes on a murder spree.
Well, that's totally fair, Bill. You're welcome to your opinion.
In that case, why don't we talk about the Night of the 44? And if you haven't listened to that, go ahead and take a listen right now.
Tell me they were closed. Close this. I blew a hole in his face, and his boy was like, "Damn, you got hoes, Tommy, you got hoes." I feel ready to die, but it's taking so long. The world's so wicked, the world's so wrong. I just keep moving on, keep trying to stay strong. The world's so wicked, the world's so wrong.
So Night of the 44, I don't remember who, I don't remember if it was the homie Rob or if it was something that I had read or what, but on Fearless Fred Fury, there is a track. Was it the homie Rob? Do you remember? You know where I'm going with this, Ryan?
I don't, but when we were talking about Night of the 44, well, that was way back on Carnival of Carnage, so it was probably Jiggles.
Okay. But no, I thought we were talking to the homie Rob at the actual record release about it.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah.
But Night of Red Rum is on Fearless Fred Fury. And I think it was the homie Rob, but if not, it was something I read somewhere about talking about how Night of the Red Rum is the first track since Night of the 44 that really is about like an actual like murderer, like sort of going into a murderer's head and being just sort of like willfully violent and like murder spree for no good reason, like sort of like violence for violence's sake, and not really a lot more to it. And I don't know whether that's true because I'm not familiar with all of the stuff that spanned the time between Hell's Pit and Fearless Fred Fury, but I will say that there's certainly a lot of similarities between the two songs because Night of Red Rum is a story told by someone who's in hell, and they both have Night of in the title, so maybe these are bookends. But Night of the 44 is about a Violent J is a character who is sort of having a psychotic break, goes into a gas station, thinks they're imagining blowing someone's head off, but then it turns out they're actually blowing someone's head off, and then they're like, well, fuck it, and then goes on a gun murder spree. And clearly this is not Violent J because they're using a gun.
Yes.
And also they're not ICP.
So Night of the 44 is is about the Dirty Harry gun, right?
I thought that was a 357.
Is that what 44?
No.
Is it 44 Magnum?
44 Magnum, yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. It's a Dirty Harry gun.
That's I didn't really put that together until this listen. Like we've talked
Is that
about
what
it.
you owned, Steve?
No.
I don't. We never mentioned it on the podcast before, right? Because I was listening to it this time and I was like, this is a Dirty Harry gun.
Yeah.
I don't remember us ever talking about it before.
I think I've seen Dirty Harry once. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Dirty Harry definitely uses a 44 Magnum.
Oh yeah.
And that's what this is referring to.
I typed in Dirty Harry gun and I got a picture of Paul Stanley's penis.
Ooh.
No, I see it.
They're hand cannons.
Yeah. I really only have criticisms of this song. I realized I only wrote down.
That's fine. Well, I'll help you make a compliment sandwich. I like getting high off of drinking Drano bottles in the back of the store.
Yeah, I like that too.
That was great. I don't know why there was a lot of things about this song that I remembered that I liked. It wasn't that I didn't like it. It just seems like the only things I wrote down were criticisms.
And my favorite part of the song is actually when somebody blows his head off, all he hears is whoof, whoof.
Okay, that definitely is one of the notes that I wrote. Jay lost his head in the last track, loses it again.
Oh.
Here. I gotta say, like, the thing that really, I think the only reason I took notes on it is because these things kind of pulled me out of the song. And again, I do really like all of the writing and those things that you mentioned. There's a lot of really great moments in the song that are actually fun, even though it's supposed to be kind of like dark and scary. But the two things are the chorus and the callback lines. It just didn't work for me.
Yeah, the chorus is a little bit disjointed.
It's just weird.
It's almost like he felt like it felt like they needed to include Shaggy for some reason, and then Shaggy was like, "The world's so wicked, the world's so wrong."
Yeah, it's a little. I just find it a little odd.
Yeah, it is odd. You're correct. It's sort of needlessly goofy, but if it were in any other song, it would be very catchy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It doesn't. To me, the verse beat is so like marching, like stomping with the horns, womp womp, womp womp, like that. And then to go to like a singy songy thing or whatever, it just felt odd to me. It's shift in tone. But I love the chorus. The verse, the beat, the main beat of the song. I think it's real strong.
Yeah, I agree. That were some of my notes. Like, I definitely like the flow and some of the music in it. I didn't really care for the chorus, like you're making fun of right now, Bill. And like you said, in another song that probably it would have been better. It would have worked out. I think the only thing I liked about the chorus at some point is that it kind of like tones it down a little bit, because it's a pretty gruesome song. And these songs were, what is this song? It's nearly 20 years old. So, when this was written, we had gone through so many strings of mass shootings. And with mass shootings, I mean, we've talked about this on other episodes. They're just scary now. And like real scary, and kind of like, like, I get it, but
Yeah, definitely.
Now it's too soon.
But I feel like they sort of tapped into a nerve of like, this is one of those things that's like truly unforgivable, of like, this is a person who belongs in hell,
Sure. The other thing, and I know it's far down the line to get to, but I feel like they, I hate to say it, but I feel like they remake this song a little bit better in The Tower, where. Oh
yeah, absolutely. No question about it.
Like, I like that song, and that's an awful song. I mean, but they just do such a great job on that song. Anyways, that's not the song. Do
we have anything else to say about the song, guys?
Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
I was just I like the comedian at the end who's like, who has
does anyone know who this is?
No.
Dude, I tried. I looked. I dug. I could not find it.
Yeah, right? It's like, it's impossible.
Now,
you think it's possibly fake?
I don't know. There's like a crowd laugh. I mean, they could generate that. I
where would they get a crowd laugh from, Ryan?
Well, no, I know. I mean, like, but it.
No, go on. I get what you're saying.
I don't know, but what I will say to that is I looked, I dug, I tried all my internet skills to find it. Was not successful. The only thing I found is somebody commented that on an article from Fago Lovers. The article was about Wade the Juggalo from Grand Theft Auto 5. And so at first I thought maybe there's somewhere, maybe it's in there somewhere, that line is from, but I could not find it. And I don't know.
The line, you thought that the line was from Grand Theft Auto 5?
Yeah.
The line that's in Hell's Pit.
Well, I guess that would make sense, huh?
I mean, I like that you followed your instincts here, man.
But I'm saying that's the only thing that I found. Well, sorry. I thought it might be. I didn't put it together in my head that how time works. But
look,
but what I'm trying to get to is I read the article on Fago Lovers about Wade the Juggalo, and it was really interesting because I played Grand Theft Auto 5, but I don't remember anything about it, and I didn't play that much. I don't remember that character that much. But there's a lot of fun Juggalo references, ICP references in there.
For sure. Yeah, you're correct.
I want to thank the Rhythmic Haligonian, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, who on Genius, for the lyrics to this track, give us the reference that this is the line after Jay shoots the kid in the drive-thru window at Burger King. His friend, voiced by Shaggy Two Dope, says, "Damn, you got hosed, Tommy," which I did not recognize as being a reference to a commercial, a Mountain Dew commercial.
The second I saw the Rhythmic Haligonian's note, I was like, "Oh yeah!"
So
that's
a good fun timing reference.
Mountain Dew, Davey and Goliath commercial.
Yeah,
you got hosed, Tommy. You got hosed.
That's all.
That's all. All right, shall we move along? And also thanks to Genius Annotation for letting us know that Drano is a drain cleaner product.
Oh.
He drinks it because the chemicals get him high, and he feels like he is ready to go out to fight with cops when he is in this mind state.
Crack the case. You know, that really is I'm not trying to say anything. I'm not trying to talk shit. But most of the annotations for ICP lyrics on Genius are just them basically restating the line.
Right.
And so, like that. Like, police, he's saying that police come, when you call the police, they surround your building. You know, like, oh.
Jay used a human body as a shield.
Right.
So I needed that. I needed that annotation combined with a screenshot from Uncharted. Nathan Drake also used a body as a shield, I guess, at some point. Okay.
I'm also stunned by just what great prophets these guys are, because 20 years later, people are drinking Drano to protect themselves from COVID.
Yeah. And also, they knew that 15 years after recording this album, there'd be a Grand Theft Auto game that they could pull a sound.
Yeah, I deserve that.
All right. Anyway, the command
everything that happened in the past in my brain is just in the same time in the past.
It's all good.
That's how I think about it.
You exist in all realities and times at once. It's fine.
I'm trying to. I smoke a lot of weed, you guys. I don't know if you're aware.
By the way, if you guys haven't read House of X, the miniseries, it was like a big event. I said a series, and Siri thought I said, "Hey Siri." It was a from a couple years ago, one of Marvel's big summer event crossovers, and House of X 2 is one of the greatest single issues of a comic book I've read in years and years, and it's about Moira McTaggart and the reveal of what her mutant ability is, and she's immortal, and like she basically every time she dies, she restarts over, living her same life, and it's fucking incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Like in her like 11th life or whatever, she gets radicalized and like tries to like help Magneto instead. It's amazing. It's so good. But I can't recommend it highly enough. Anyway, I'm going to make the command decision that next time we're going to talk about bowling balls and the movie and the video. And that's probably going to be our next episode. And if you guys want to, you can listen to 12 24 and Burning Up, which are tracks 10 and 11 off Hell's Pit, but I think it's possible we'll get a whole episode out of Bowling Balls, but you know what? Maybe we won't, and maybe I'm wrong again. Anyway, we're going to talk about The Witch now, and if you haven't listened to The Witch, you can take a listen right now.
Told me to crawl under my house and just wait. Don't panic if I suffocate. I bit the tail off a possum down there at one point. It's so boring and it's dark, but the witch is my light. Something is standing in between me and my sanity. They say my witch is just a dream of infancy. I say wake the dead, wake the dead, wake the...
Guys, the song's about a witch. All right, everyone, we'll see you next time. Shaggy, the verses alternate between Shaggy and Jay, which I always appreciate. I tend to like songs where they go back and forth like this. Shaggy tends to, I think they both do, but especially Shaggy. The witch is not female, and is possibly non-binary or gender fluid or agendered. But I just like, that's probably the thing I appreciated the most about the song is they refer to the witch as it and not she or whatever. It's the witch. It's not a man or a woman or anything that you may have a preconception with about the witch. Further, it may not be a person at all. It may just be an impulse or a darkness or a force. It may not be a witch that we conceive of it. And with that like concept in mind, I give this track a lot of points for basically like you see a track that says the witch and you like immediately are like, thinking of like tonight we worship the dead, that sort of thing. And I like that it's something a lot more sinister than that.
Sorry, I was muted. Well, okay, wait, but they do say in the outro, does she really exist? Does she really exist?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really a witch here?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did you cover that part? I thought you were saying because they said that was agendered or whatever, but they do call her she.
But they also say, is it really a witch here? So, like, does she really exist could be any of the number of women they talk about in the song. Or it could just be a lapse of, them, or it could just speak to the witch's gender fluidity of like, sometimes it's a force, sometimes it manifests as this or that, or they just fucked up.
I'm just reading my notes. So this song reminded me of Jacob's Word, right? Because the witch is always, it's almost like the devil on your shoulder, the devil and the angel, and this is the devil that's always like telling him to do bad stuff. Mm-hmm. Encouraging them to do bad things.
Yeah.
Is the witch the Wraith?
No.
They're different.
What makes you so special? You think you can escape the Wraith?
I really like this one. I really like the beat. It's like laughing, or maybe it's even birds. I don't know. Sometimes it sounds like birds to me, in the background, and there's like keys, keyboard keys, which is very different from the previous track, with the hard guitars and the horns from Every Day I Die and Night of the 44. So I really like that shift. And I don't know if I said that Ishan produced the last track, Night of the 44. But we're back on Mike P for this one.
Back on that Mike P shit.
Yeah, I remember hating this song and was so surprised on how much I actually enjoyed it this time through. I didn't really pick up like what you guys were about the gender of the witch or anything like that. But I was more like what Ryan was talking about. It reminded me of Jacob's Word as well, where having him do stupid shit. Like I love the like crawls under his house and just sits down there forever, and then like bites a possum's tail off, and he's like, he's bored as fuck, but he's like doing it. and I love how like Shaggy like gnaws his arm off after he's broken it and it's still possessed, and it's just like great imagery. The music is really cool too, though, and I love the wake the dead, wake 'em chants, and or I don't know if it's a chant, but just the way that all that flows. It's a great chorus. I really like the chorus in this song.
Agree. There's some backmasking.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is severed head. So here we have another head loss. It's a theme for this whole week, actually.
It's almost like in Hell, heads just are gone all the time.
I like to kick them.
I like to stick them. I'm a head man.
Speaking of kicking, so we get the same imagery repeated here of Shaggy getting his legs cooked, which I really like. And then by the end, he's in the wheelchair and he roasts his legs off, and then he's not his arm, so he's only got one arm left, which is great.
He can still throw his hatchet in the air.
Right, he's still got that hatchet going.
Maybe that's Shaggy's kink. He's like, I just want my legs to be roasted and eaten. Oh my god, did you watch the Shaggy and the Creep where he makes Easter ham?
Yeah.
Just the 30-second clip of him slapping the ham with a basting brush while he stares at the camera. That show's so funny, guys.
He was pretty reckless, I feel like, with his cooking tactics.
Absolutely.
Is his family going to eat all this food? I mean, he prepared a lot of food.
Yeah. That casserole he made was weird.
It ended up, he made macaroni and cheese, and it was like, it ended up looking okay.
Sure.
But I was really scared going in.
Well, use the moldy cheese, too.
Right. Yeah, we don't give a fuck in this house.
Dude, the most amazing part of that video is his kid's wearing the wrestling mask to protect his identity, but he's trying to get Shaggy's attention. He's like, Dad, and then he's like, Shaggy, and Shaggy stops. He's like, you can call me Dad. Can't wait for my kid to call me Shaggy.
Okay, but wait. So what I feel like happened there is a really magical thing, because Joey Utzler is a dad. And he lives a dad life and does dad shit. He's probably home a lot.
Especially right now.
He seems like he has a good relationship with his kids, right? This is the first time he's talked about them and stuff, but this is the first time that was the first time I ever seen him interact with his kids. And I was really surprised, like I've said before, that they really open up their homes. We're in his kitchen. He's got his kid on screen. His wife is doing the filming. We can hear her talking, and that's really invasion isn't the right word, but we're really involved in their personal lives. And Joey the dad, sometimes he's got face paint on, and he's being Shaggy 2 dope, and that's one of the ICP's hallmark is that what's it called, kayfabe? They don't break character in public.
Yeah.
And this kid knows that they're filming for Dad's show, and he's got to be Shaggy. And so I feel like that's a really interesting kind of. At first it seems kind of sad that he has to call his dad Shaggy or whatever. But when I thought about it further, I was like, I feel like he's sort of respecting what his dad does and knowing the difference.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. No, he called him Shaggy because he called him Shaggy because he was saying dad. It was just a straight up little kid thing where he was like dad, and Shaggy wasn't acknowledging him. So it's if Steve was talking to his dad, or if I was talking to my dad, I'd be like dad, and then if he wasn't paying attention to me, I'd be like Bill. And it was exactly that. It was a little kid thing of they're not listening to me because they're tuning me out, so I'll say their real name. And to the kid, Shaggy is his real name.
Does he? Right? Is it though? That's
funny. Or when Dad's wearing the face paint, his name is Shaggy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
At least he knows,
beautiful.
I have to call him Shaggy right now. And Shags is but I feel like it kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit, or it breaks the illusion a little bit, where he's like, nah, man, we're kind of just doing this thing, I know I have face paint on and all that, but, it is what it is.
Just beautiful. I guess we should continue to talk about The Witch if you guys have anything further to say about it. Sorry. Got us a little sidetracked there. Nope, we're done. All right. No, just good.
I was just going to say there's some common imagery around the witch in the different tracks where the witch is mentioned, where they are mentioned, sitting on their chest or sitting on their back, constricting their breathing in some way. The claws, especially the claws, holding their face, that's an image, or their neck, holding them down. That imagery is what I mostly connect to the witch. Is them kind of perched on them or having their weight on them, which is pretty scary, I gotta say. If there was something that was constricting my breathing and it was holding my face, if you know what I'm getting at, it's kind of a scary thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking of little bits of when people who get sleep paralysis think that some people think it's aliens, but then some people think it's demons. And if it's a demon, part of that can be they'll say it sometimes gets sexual, and so like a succubus. And that's kind of the imagery I pictured from this, and I was like, I wonder why they didn't just go with demons, like it being a demon instead of being a witch. And then I thought it seemed so much cooler it being calling it a witch, and taking away the imagery, the witch just to me just seems like a demon and not like a person that was a practitioner of pagan Wicca from Europe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it made it much more interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, I'm sorry. Everything I say sounds disingenuous.
Can I ask you guys your opinion on something in one of the lyrics?
Maybe it's because I don't care about you.
When it's the first verse, I think it's Shaggy. He says, "The witch jumped on my back last night. I couldn't breathe in his clutch. I was frozen in fright. It went on for seemed like hours of terror. To see the witch's face stare in the dark at the mirror is what's going on there? What's your opinion?
I think that they're saying that when they look in the mirror, they see the witch.
Okay, is the witch living in the mirror, or is their face?
They have been inhabited by the witch.
The witch,
or they have been so consumed by their terror of the witch that they see it everywhere, even in their own reflection.
It's not like a Bloody Mary kind of thing. You stand in the dark, you stare in the mirror, the witch comes out.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
The witch is evil, basically.
I thought Bloody Mary lived in the mirror. I didn't think she was inside me. I didn't think it was a reflection of me that I was seeing.
Well, Bloody Mary doesn't live in the mirror, Ryan.
Doesn't she?
No. The mirror is a portal through which to summon Bloody Mary. You think?
Okay.
Wait, hang on a second. We might have to revisit this on the next episode.
Right, we're gonna
everyone, write to us, dimcarnival@gmail.com. Does Bloody Mary live in the mirror, or is it just Kristen? Does Bloody Mary live in the mirror, or is it just the portal through which to summon her?
I would think the portal from which to summon her.
Okay, there you go. Definitive proof.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with Kristen.
But if you disagree,
5 seconds.
But if you disagree, or if you have further thoughts about Bloody Mary, please email us at dimcarnival@gmail.com. And you know what? If you have any thoughts about anything at all that we've talked about, or the world in general, hey, there's a lot of shit going on. You can email us at dimcarnival@gmail.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at Sundown Motel. We're wrapping up now, right?
Oh yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah, all right. You can follow me on Twitter at Sundown Motel. You can follow me on all social media at Sundown Motel. And that was my ICQ client just closing. Guys, where can they follow you, or do you have anything else to plug, or whatever? No, stuff to plug.
We have a YouTube channel now.
Oh, hell yeah!
By the time you hear this episode, there might be something on it.
Shit.
So go check it out. It's
Nice.
Dim Carnival. We're everywhere. Just go to your favorite social media platform, internet, website, and just type in Dim Carnival. You'll find us.
Steve, you want to hand out your PSN handle or anything?
No, thank you. I have tons of pretty ladies commenting me all day on that, so I don't need the extra.
Whoa!
Oof. One of these days.
Yvette 21 99 24 24 26 26. It's like, hey stranger, come take a look at my PU $$.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Or they use they use letters from the Spanish keyboard or different language keyboards, so it has all these different accents atop, but it's still just English. Good stuff.
I like it.
I am so popular.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody, thanks so much for listening. It's good to be back. Hopefully we'll have another one of these as soon as next week. Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. And Until next time, don't drill a hole in your head. That's not it.
Who are you?
Thanks everybody. You guys are cool. That was T.
And I'm Ryan.
Oh, do we not finish that up? Sorry. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. And until next time, I'm Bill.
That's Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
The Witch. Well, I just found a YouTube video that says the Dim Carnival returns 8/27/20, so we better fucking get our act together.
Yeah.
That could be your stinger.